All right, I want to welcome everyone out to Call of Cthulhu, the Lightless Beacon. Now, this adventure will promise to be filled with some mystery and some excitement and definitely some danger. If you've had the opportunity, go to the journals, it looks like the little book icon, and find your backstory. You should each have your own individual backstory. Take a look at that. You can decide how much of that you want to run with or if you want to just ignore it. But there are tie ins throughout the adventure to each individual's backstory that may help to motivate your character or motivate role play between the group. So we've got that available there for you. If you get a chance, look that over. Let's go ahead and get started. April 12th, 1926, 8:15 p.m. The Beacon Island Lighthouse off the shore of Folly Point, Massachusetts, ceased to cast its light over the region's dangerous rocky waters about 15 minutes ago. As a result, the FV Essex County, a hired fishing vessel on which you are all traveling to Rockport, has foundered on the rocks and incurred considerable damage to its hull. The ship is sinking, and the captain hurries you toward the small inflatable raft acting as the ship's lifeboat. As he loads you in, he tells you that your best bet is to aim for Beacon Island. He doubts you'll make the mainland, as a storm is brewing. He is going to attempt to salvage his craft before swimming to shore. You should have just enough time to reach the island before the big storm hits. Then, without another word, his yellow galoshes press firmly against your inflatable raft, and he shoves you off into the dark, churning waters. All you have to guide you is the small light shining at the base of the lighthouse's towering silhouette. As you begin traversing the dark, churning waters, twisted metal lurks just below the surface. And as you look out for this, Frank, give me a spot hidden roll.
Ooh. Okay.
Excellent. That is a hard success. So, Frank, you recognize this little bit of twisted metal is likely maybe a part of a ship, as though something has sunk here and been mostly submerged, but because of the churning waters, every now and then you see a little sharp, jagged piece of metal coming up almost directly in your path. Judging by the condition of the metal, you think that it has not been here for very long. It's not overly rusted and corroded. There's not a large number of barnacles on it. Very likely that this is relatively new. Now, Robert, let me have you give me a roll here. This is going to be another spot hidden roll. And then I would like Anita to give me a pilot boat roll. Oh, Robert, bringing in the extreme success. Excellent. Now,
Oh no.
Anita, you did not pass that roll. You have the option. You could push the roll. If you push the roll, you re-roll it, and if you fail, something bad will happen. If you pass, then it's just like you had passed the roll. Do you want to push that pilot boat check?
I think I'm gonna push it because
There's a
we've gotta
big piece of
roll
sharp
this die.
metal right in front of you.
Oh.
That was close. That was very close. So, Robert, as the ship begins to head towards this jagged piece of metal, you are looking at the lighthouse, and you can see that the main light at the very top is indeed out. All you see is a little bit of light at the base where it looks to be a small residence for the light keeper. It looks as though perhaps a porch light or a kitchen light or something is on. That's the only light to guide you. And Anita, as you push towards this jagged bit of metal, you try frantically to steer the boat away, but you are unsuccessful. You heard the loud rushing of air as the inflatable raft is punctured, and everyone has to bail out before you are tangled in this deflating raft. You are all welcome to either make a swim roll or you can make a dexterity roll.
Hmm.
I will let you choose.
Robert's going to go for dexterity.
Yeah, I think that's his better bet.
Yeah.
For most of you, I think dexterity is probably going to be your best bet.
Mm-hmm.
Swim for the light.
You're just gonna hear Anita yell out, "Sorry, the storm's too rough. Everybody."
Everybody bail out. Is Robert going to push that?
I'm going to push because I got to live.
Right? Everyone else made it but Robert. His afro is just weighed down with all that water.
Too much hair.
And Robert
Oh,
makes
I
it.
made it.
He makes it.
Ooh.
See? Only happy accidents.
In fact, as you hit the water and you begin to get pulled under the waves, there's a flash of lightning, and you see a color reflected off the surface of that sharp metal, and it's a color that you have never mixed on a palette before. And as you look at that color, for a moment, you forget to swim. And since you had to push that roll, had you failed that, you may have wanted to stay down there and see that color. But no, living is more important than that art. You take a mental photograph of that, knowing that you will paint that again. And you drag yourself up to the surface, gasping for air, and you all gather on the shore, panting and soaked to the bone from this terrible storm that has washed over you. Now, let's go to a map of the general area here. I'll kind of show you where we are at. So we are just off the edge of Massachusetts. So you can see here is Beacon Island up at the top. This is the little island that we have landed on. We were headed towards Rockport, but this storm has pushed us off the coast. The nearest spit of land would be Folly Point, but in this storm it is unlikely we could swim that. So we are essentially stuck here for now. Let's take a look at the island in general. So we come ashore just over here, kind of on this rocky northern shoreline. And as you drag yourselves up from the water, you see the pier and a narrow dirt path hemmed in by long grass. You can hear the faint churning of machinery in the distance. Let me have Anne give me either a mechanical repair or an electrical repair roll. I'll let you choose which one.
Huh. Well, both are pretty terrible. Yep. I'll just go for mechanical.
That's probably your best bet.
Close enough. I am not gonna push. I want to
Okay.
see what happens.
So you don't know what that sound could be. It sounds like an engine, maybe like a car left running, but you're not certain. And a short walk along the path brings you to the Lighthouse Cottage entrance, and you notice that the front door is slightly ajar, and there's a steady glow coming from within. And on either side of the door is a window with thin curtains drawn over both, but a warm, welcoming light shines through the curtains on the left. The path seems to continue around to the back of the lighthouse. Anita, please give me a spot hidden roll.
Sorry, one sec. It's I always have trouble finding it on the list.
No problem. Oh,
Ooh.
okay. That's a fumble. So you are walking along, and you see the warm, inviting lights of the cabin. It looks dry inside and warm, and you're not out in the storm. It looks like that's a place you may want to go. As you are trudging along, you look down, and you are dismayed to find that you have been walking over tracks. These tracks in the mud, and the marks of your own boots and have mixed with these strange tracks that you see. And for a moment, in horror, you realize that you have disturbed the tracks of some perhaps unidentified species. give me a science biology roll. Do you want to push that?
Yeah, I'll push it. You know, my eyes are still stinging from the salt water.
Right. Now, having marred these tracks, I'm actually going to reduce your sanity by 2 points as you realize that these are potentially an unidentified species. You cannot identify these. It looks they're small. They're slightly smaller than human feet, but there is some sort of skin stretched between the toes, almost like duck feet, like webbing on there. And this could be a huge scientific discovery, and perhaps you have just destroyed these tracks. But it's not just you, the rainwater pouring down is destroying them as well. And you know that if these are not followed soon, they may be lost forever, as this rain will make tracking impossible. What do you all decide to do? What would Robert do?
Robert's got to get out of this rain. This is terrible.
Yeah, this is just awful, awful rain. What about Frank? What would Frank do?
Yeah, I think he would also be trying to get out of the rain.
And Anne?
Yes, I want to go inside the lighthouse, more specifically.
Perfect. And what about Anita?
Anita's gonna be looking towards the lighthouse and the inviting light longingly, but back at the tracks, and I'm just conflicted. I'm gonna tell everyone else just like, I think I have to follow these tracks. You know, we're already wet. What's a little bit more rain? Just, do you guys think we can hold out for just maybe 10 more minutes? Thinking that the tracks won't lead too
That's
far.
probably about all the time you have left is 10 minutes before they're obliterated by the rain. So if anyone wants to go with Anita, they are welcome to, or if you want to go into the warmth of the lighthouse, you can do that as well. Who would like to follow Anita?
I'll stick with Anita. I understand following your passion.
Absolutely. What about Anne and Frank?
I'm going into the lighthouse.
Okay,
Yeah, I think Frank wants to go in the lighthouse.
perfect. Let's split the party. That always ends well. And let's go with Anita and Robert. We're going to take your adventure on first as the others head into the lighthouse. And I will describe what you find in the lighthouse in just a moment. Let me have Robert give me a track roll.
Ooh, 10% or 10. This is going to be
It's going to be rough.
rough.
And if remember, we have luck. If you want to spend luck to improve your roll, it's just a point-by-point basis. You can spend an equal amount of luck to make that a success. In this case, you would have to spend 66 luck. I don't know if you want to do that. If you push a roll, then you cannot track, or you cannot use luck if you push it. So do you want to push that?
No, not on a score of 10.
Right. What about Anita? Let me have you give me either a natural world or a track roll.
Well, they're just about the same, but maybe natural world. As a marine biologist, I'm usually not used to following tracks.
Oh,
Nice.
excellent roll. Wow. These animal-like footprints seem to come along the path from the direction of the thicket. You also notice some other boot prints that you don't think are yours, but maybe. And these lead from the cottage's front door down into the trees. And these boot prints seem to be underneath these other prints, as though the unidentified species stepped into those boot prints, and then they turn and begin to follow the boot prints. The footpath around the side of the cottage soon branches. One branch leads to, excuse me, just off the path and behind the lighthouse there are 2 sheds, and you walk past these sheds. The smaller shed, you hear a rumbling mechanical sound coming from it, and now that you're close, Robert, you would recognize this as an electric generator. You can hear it straining, and you can see smoke coming out of a small hole in the roof, and you can hear the patter of rain on that generator, and you know that generator may not last the night if it's getting rained upon like that. As you track the footprints along the path, you eventually come across this. It is a scene of blood and gore. There is a hideously mangled body. It's a bloody mess. His innards have been dragged from his body, slashed and trampled into the dirt. Beside the corpse lies a shattered lantern. It is evident that he died recently. I'm going to have both of you make a sanity roll.
Ooh.
Anita, you will lose 1 point of sanity, and Robert Ross will lose 2 points. 1d4 plus 1. So 1 point for Anita and 2 points for Robert. At seeing this gruesome discovery. Now, this man is clearly dead. What would Anita do upon seeing this?
I'm going to get closer to see if I can identify what kind of wounds he has, if I've ever seen those markings before.
Give me a first aid or a medicine roll. I'll let you choose.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, an extreme success. So you find out 3 things. One is that this person was probably torn apart by some kind of animal, as there are odd teeth and claw marks on the body. It also appears that this person died very recently, probably within the last hour. There is still warmth in the body. And with your extreme success, you find that there are numerous small needles embedded deep into his skin. These are like little tiny biological spines. Give me a biology or a zoology roll. Should be under science. Do you want
I am
to
going
spend
to use
luck?
my luck.
Perfect. So it'll cost you 9 points of luck. You know that these are indeed some sort of animal spine. They look very similar to like a lionfish that has those poisonous spines on it, and you suspect that these are probably poisonous. That whatever happened to this man, it must have been violent and must have been painful. Robert, what are you doing while Anita is examining these remains?
Well, being a non-analytical scientist type, I scream.
Definitely.
And I said, we got to get out of here. We got to get up to that house.
Anita, the tracks continue on down towards the southern end of the island. Do you want to continue to follow those tracks? Or do you follow Robert into the lighthouse?
Well, I'm gonna look back at him and as I'm examining the body, I'm just kind of like fascinating. The spines of a lionfish, but these tracks and what kind of creature. And when he says that, I'm going to again look at the track and say, well, you know, creatures like this are animals. They only kill to survive, to eat. You know, if this kill has been fresh, then we shouldn't have anything to worry for ourselves. You know, like, don't you want to be part of something bigger than this, than yourself? You know,
You mean bigger, like a bigger meal? No, I do not. I want to keep my entrails on the inn,
Not out trails.
not out trails. Can I put together 2 and 2 and grab that lantern that you said that was on the ground?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
I want to, because knowing that if that generator goes out, I might need some light
Perfect.
so
Now,
that I can see what's going to eat me.
give me a mechanical repair roll as you kind of look it over and investigate it.
Mechanical repair. There we go. This is going to be laughable. Missed it.
Do you want to spend 18 luck to get that lantern working again?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
How do I do that?
So you can just reduce
Just hit
your
luck?
luck. Yeah, just reduce it by 18.
Okay.
The mantles on the lantern are not damaged. They're not wet or damaged, so you are able to kind of. It's one of those old where you pump up the pressure in the lantern. It's still got fuel in it, and then you hit the striker, and it ignites, and you've got the soft glow of the lantern. The glass windows around it are protecting it from the wind and the rain, and you've now got light. If you are heading back to the lighthouse, is Anita going to follow, or are you going to continue to follow the tracks down to the southern end of the island? It'd be just maybe a 5-minute walk.
Yeah, I'm just gonna distractedly say like, oh, I'll be right behind you. Just put on a pot of tea for me to warm up, and I'm gonna just follow the tracks.
Excellent. As you follow the tracks down, you find another worn-out pier, and tied to it is a yellow boat. And 2 bright yellow galoshes are on the dock here. Give me a spot hidden roll, Anita. Excellent. So you notice 2 things. 1, the yellow galoshes are full of dark liquid. And 2, these are the same galoshes that pushed you off of the Essex County. These belong to the captain. If you peek inside the galoshes, you see they're not filled just with rainwater, but they're pink with blood, and you can see the feet and ankles of a man still in the boots, his legs having been severed just below the rim of these galoshes. There's blood streaked on the dock, turning pink as it mixes with rainwater. Please give me a sanity roll. Excellent. You pass that. You will still lose 1 point of sanity for seeing this. And you can see off in the distance to the south, about 650 meters away, are the lights of a town on the coast. And you know that it's not far, but perhaps in this storm it's too far to take that boat by yourself. Let's go to the lighthouse cottage. So this is going to be Frank and Anne, and shortly to be joined by Robert. So beyond the partially open front door, a hallway leads into the cottage's 4 rooms, 2 on each side of the passageway. And I have a map of the inside of the lighthouse. Let's go there. And once we are in the lighthouse, the sounds of the storm will abate slightly.
Mm.
So there are 4 rooms, 2 on each side of the wide passageway. There's a study, a bunk room, a kitchen, and a larder. At the end of the hallway is a winding staircase leading to the lighthouse's service room. And although all of the rooms appear to be fitted with electric light bulbs, only the study's lights are currently on.
Oh.
The hallway is not currently lit. And the first thing you notice as you walk in are 3 coat hooks by the door, only one of which currently has a well-worn oilskin hanging from it. 2 pairs of galoshes stand in a shallow tray just beneath the coat hooks. There is space for another pair, while a pair of indoor shoes sits beside the tray. There are 2 oil lanterns hanging from hooks next to the oilskin. There's also an empty hook, suggesting one lamp is missing. From this, you can deduce that there were 3 people likely staying here. One of them took a lantern out. You see that one of them must have taken galoshes out as well, and that 2 of the oilskin coats are missing. Let me have Frank give me a spot hidden roll. Frank, you notice something disturbing. There are 2 bullets lodged in the hallway floor.
No.
Give me a firearms handgun roll, please.
Alright. Ooh.
Oh, nice. These bullets were fired from someone positioned a few steps up the winding stairwell. Someone was ascending the stairs and fired down towards this direction, just based on the angle of those bullet holes. Now, Anne, as you walk in, you see Frank looking at this on the floor, but you see spattered blood leading from the kitchen door to the stairs. And Anne, upon seeing this, please give me a sanity roll.
Oh, good.
Nothing bad ever happened from that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're going to
I
lose.
fail.
You're going to lose 1 point of sanity.
Okay.
But you do identify something else. Near the blood, you see this. You see 3 largish gold coins.
I will bend over and pick them up.
Give me an appraise
And-
roll as you pick them up.
This I could do, I bet. No, I can't.
Oh.
I would try and push that, actually.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, excellent. Extreme success. So you identify that these coins are made of solid gold. One side of the coins appears to depict an obelisk of some sort, while the other is covered in strange sigils and disturbing designs. And give me an occult roll.
Ooh.
Okay, let's see. Where is that? Am I missing it on the character sheet? Yes, I'm just missing it.
Let me-
Haha.
There we are. Ooh, that's terrible.
I-
do you
I have
want to?
no
Do you want to
idea.
push that?
Nope.
Yep.
No, I'm fine.
You know that these are not normal coins that you would have seen in your day-to-day trafficking as an antique dealer. You've seen plenty of gold coins from various civilizations, time periods. These are nothing like what you have seen. You don't even recognize the language on the back or the symbology at all. You do think that perhaps these are related to some of the religious tokens and icons that you have seen from the South Seas, but you have no idea where these may hail from. What do you do with the coins?
I'm going to hold in my hand while I call out. Georgie, darling, are you here?
There is no answer.
I dare say that is not a good sign.
Frank's just like, who's George?
Oh, an old acquaintance of mine. Last I knew, he was living in a lighthouse. I assumed he was here. I know he was getting into coins, the old fool. And I'll show the coins to Frank. I'll with my hand open.
And Frank, you see these coins, you know these are incredibly valuable. Just the spot price of gold alone, these are worth a small windfall. You know, this might represent 6 months' salary right here in these 3 gold coins. You've
Ooh.
never seen anything like this, but you're not you're not a numismatist. You're not super well versed in coins, but you know gold when you see it.
He's like, you gonna do anything with those?
I have a bad feeling about them.
You know,
If
as an FBI agent, I'm happy to bear your burden and take those scary coins.
I've used that same technique on my kids. You know that cookie there could be poisonous. Let me take it.
Oh yeah, you could be in danger. I'll take the hit.
Nice. So
yes,
does
no,
Anne give
yes.
Frank the coins?
If you wish to be cursed, darling, have at them.
Frank,
I'll be
Uh huh.
cursed on a beach, ma'am, with a
give
drink in my hand.
give me an
Yeah.
occult roll, Frank.
Okay. Frank's just trying to go on vacation. He's
Oh yeah.
tired.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Overworked and underpaid.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. All right.
Yeah, so you know that this isn't cursed gold. This is gold. You know that there's a lot of people would say there were curses on treasure just to keep robbers away, but
Mhm.
it's all nonsense. It's just a means to try and frighten people from stealing your stuff. And you could melt these suckers down into bullion, or plenty of people that would pay a pretty penny for these.
He's like, on behalf of the U.S. government, thank you.
Nice. Top men will study these. Top men.
Oh yes.
About this time, Robert, you arrive with your lantern. You can see that the door is open, and you can see these two kind of kneeling down on the floor looking at something. You notice that Frank takes something and puts it into his jacket pocket just as you reach the door, and they both turn to look at you. Robert, what do you do?
I am breathing heavy, and I lost 2 points of sanity, so I am very shook. There's a dead body down there. It was destroyed by something.
Frank, what's your
Oh
reaction to
dear.
that?
I think I assume he has like a gun. I think he just kind of like makes sure it's still there. And he's just like, "Where'd you see it?"
It was down by the path near the generator shed. I don't know where Anita's at. She said she was coming right behind me, but she's gone.
And Frank just lets out like a big sigh. He's like, ah. And he's like, I'll go check the body and look for her.
Frank, you do have your 38 in your side holster. As you feel its comforting shape beneath your jacket, you feel somewhat empowered to go out there. Your job has had you going out into dark, foreboding places before, and you've always come out on top.
Mm-hmm.
You know that as you see Robert, you see the fear in his eyes, and know that he is likely seeing ghosts where there are none. Do you go out by yourself? Does Robert or Anne go with you?
I'll take him back down there. I mean, my hair is a mess anyhow.
Right. Yeah.
It's not going to get worse.
Not unless this wind can blow dry it back into shape.
Yes, but I will make sure that I am behind him.
Perfect. What about Anne? What are you doing before I take these two down the path?
Anne is going to stay behind and continue to look for signs of George at the lighthouse.
Okay. Let's let's do that first while the other two head out into the darkness. So you've got 4 rooms that you can check. There's a study, a kitchen, the bunk room, and the larder before you begin to head up into the lighthouse. Do you want to check any of those 4 rooms?
Really, whichever is closest first, I think.
So from the door, you're probably the study or the bunkhouse would be the closest rooms.
Let's go to the bunkhouse then.
The bunkhouse. Okay. The bunk room contains 3 neatly made beds. There's a large pile of books stacked tidily in one corner of the room. There are also 3 large cupboards, each holding soap, towels, fresh bedding, and extra blankets. You notice that the cupboards, that 2 of them have a few small personal effects, a razor, perhaps a set of keys. One of them is empty, other than folded linen and folded towels. Give me a spot hidden roll.
All right. Let's see. Wow. Nope.
Do you want to push that or spend luck on that? That'd be
I
23
actually-
luck.
No, I'm gonna try and push it.
Okay.
No, it's worse.
It is worse. You, as you look at the belongings in those cupboards, one of them you think might belong to your friend George. There is a small, we would call it a key fob, but it would be like a small medallion. It's not anything of any special worth, but it does have some significance to the two of you. And as you see this, it reminds you of your former life and some of the things that you may have done in that former life that involved George. And you have a moment where you think of him almost with fondness, and then the worry begins to set in.
I will put it
yes.
in my pocket.
Perfect. So, if you know that if George left this here, he has not left the island. He would have taken this with him. All right, let's go back to the others heading down the path. You reach that body, going past the two outer buildings, the one which you can hear the generator struggling, and then the other one which you have not inspected. You reach that dead body, and Frank, upon seeing the body, you are your training kicks in, and it's difficult at first to see this. Give me a sanity roll.
Oh boy. Doo-doo-doo. Ooh.
Nice. You lose 1 point of sanity at seeing this body. You recognize almost right away that you know this person.
He just goes, damn it. And I think tries to see, if he had anything like in his pockets, or like on his body that might be helpful.
Yeah, you find a Bureau of Investigation badge and the name Warren Thomas on his identification card. And you also see that there is a 6-bullet revolver, a Smith & Wesson 38 Special, that is somewhat entangled in Warren Thomas's innards. If you want to pull that out, you can.
Yeah, why not?
As you reach in and grab that, you feel that the intestines they're not as cold as the ground or the rain. There's a little bit of heat still in there, and that's a terrifying thing as you touch that and you feel that this person was alive very recently, probably within the last hour. Give me one more sanity roll.
Oof. Yeah.
All right. You let out a little scream. Anytime you fail a sanity roll, you have a little moment where you scream, you drop something, just some little thing. Maybe you recoil a little bit. You're going to lose 3 points of sanity as you pull your buddy's gun out of his entrails. And as you wipe the blood off, maybe on some of the wet grass, you inspect it and see that it has 5 rounds left. So it has fired 1 round. And let me put this on your character sheet. Or do you give this to Robert?
I think he looks at Robert and says, "You any good with a gun?"
And Robert, would you take this gun?
With I would take it with like 2 fingers, holding it away from my body,
Nice.
and say, I think I can shoot a gun. I'm not that. I wouldn't call myself proficient or anything like that. I mean, I'm more about paints and palettes than small arms.
Let me just
Did-
put this on your.
Did you know this person?
Yep, we work together occasionally.
What was he doing here?
That's what I wanted to find out.
You hear a sound in the brush just to the south, and you see faint movement. Frank, your training kicks in as you see a shape hunched over, heading towards you along the path.
Ugh.
What does Frank do?
Oh man. I mean, I feel like he would. I don't know if he would directly try to shoot it to take it down. Maybe he fires like a warning shot.
Okay, give me a firearms roll. Your handgun roll.
Okay. Oh wait. Oh, there we go.
Nice. Where do you place this round? You mentioned a warning shot. Do you shoot it into the ground, over the head of this thing?
Yeah, I think like maybe over its head just to show that like I can hit it. I'm choosing not to.
Nice. Anita, you hear the crack of a bullet passing just above your left ear. It sounds like something just smacking hard, a hard wall as the sound wave passes over you. You see the muzzle flash up ahead of you as someone is firing a gun at you. What would Anita do?
I throw up my hands. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, it's just me. And my hands are also holding the boots with the severed feet.
Nice.
Because
Well.
proof is king when you're studying. So I
Yep, evidence
them to
is
bring back.
everything. You see that it is your compatriot. It is Anita, the marine biologist. Rob, you've got the lantern, and you notice now that your hand is shaking, and it's not just from the cold, but from the adrenaline that is coursing through your body. And you can see her approaching. You see the bright yellow galoshes first, and you saw the galoshes in the house. They were black. They were not yellow. The only yellow galoshes you remember are from the ship's captain. And Anita, as you come up with these galoshes, Frank, do you put your sidearm away, or do you keep it drawn?
Oh, sorry, I forgot my name was Frank for a minute.
Easily done.
What is Frank
Who the
doing?
hell's Frank?
Who the hell's Frank? No, I think he would put the gun away, and he would just be like, "Can you just walk like a normal person from now on?"
Not like you're skulking in the weeds.
Yeah, it's like not like Gollum, like be normal.
Do you dump out those galoshes in front of them, Anita, or what do you do?
I clutch them close to my chest and I say, oh, my apologies, but what say we finally get back to that lighthouse? You guys were so eager to get inside, I'm not gonna show them just yet.
Okay. As you head back to the lighthouse, let's go back into the lighthouse, and you have a chance to check out another room. So you have got the study, the kitchen, or the larder you could investigate.
I would like to look in the kitchen.
The kitchen. The kitchen has some dirty plates and a sauce pot in the sink. There's a table with 3 chairs, and there are 3 doors, one leading outside, one into the hallway, and one into the study. There's a small wood-fired stove in the far corner, and a still warm kettle sits on the hearth next to it. One of the chairs lies broken on the floor, and there is a small pool of blood on the floor beside it. Give me either a first aid roll, or you can make an intelligence roll.
Let's see. Where's first aid? Yeah, I think I'll just do straight intelligence.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, extreme
Yeah.
success. So you recognize that the chair may have been used as a weapon. That there's also something not quite right about the blood. The coloring is a little bit off. It's a little towards the blue end of the spectrum. Robert would be able to identify immediately that this coloring was not the crimson of normal blood, but something different. And Anita might recognize it as something marine in nature, but they're not here. So as far as you know, there's just some strange color to that. Now there is a sharp kitchen knife on the counter. If you want to grab that knife, you can. Otherwise, you can head into another room.
I do not want to grab that knife, but I actually do want to check how much water is in the kettle that is still warm.
It looks as though it was set to boil and none of the water has been poured out. There's enough in there for at least 2, possibly 3 mugs of tea or coffee.
Okay. Yeah, I will go and look in the study.
Okay. As you head to the study, the rest of the party begins to approach. You can hear that. In fact, Frank, give me a mechanical repair roll.
Mm-hmm. I'll spend some luck.
Spend 2 points of luck on that.
Yeah.
You can hear that the sound of the generator has changed since the last time you came by here, and it seems to be struggling even more. It's sputtering slightly. Whether it's out of gas or whether it is getting soaked by the rain, you're not sure. But if you peek in there, you can tell that the rain is definitely a problem, and that left long enough, that generator may die because of the rain.
Frank's like, all right, well, if we want to, keep the lights on, got to figure out how to protect this generator.
What would Anita and Robert do?
Anita's just, well, I may not know much about mechanical repair, but I can help with, if you can direct me. She's just kind of like shrugging, but still, again, clutching the boots.
Holding the boots. Nice. And as you kind of squeeze, you see the little pinkish water kind of sloshes out on your top every now and then.
Yeah.
What about Robert?
Is there anything laying around or see anything that I think we could cover this generator with? Or is the generator itself big enough or small enough to move around to maybe get into one of the sheds?
So there is the other shed across the other side of the way, and I'll say you go in looking for something you could use in here. This is a tool room. There are hammers, nails, wrenches, saws. There's various boards. There's a few sheets of plywood that are in kind of rough shape. There's also a tarp in here that you managed to find. And you think if you could just get up on the roof of that generator shed, you could probably, nail that tarp in place, would probably do it, or you could make a more thorough repair job and get some of these boards and maybe hammer that up.
I think in light of everything that's going on, I think that just getting it covered up with that tarp, we'll have to go with that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You come out with the tarp. There are a few bits of rope. You could probably tie it down. You think that might hold it? You just maybe tie the 4 corners and stake them into the ground, or tie them to some bushes, or do you want to climb up there and try to nail that in place?
I'll go ahead and I'll climb up there and try to nail it in place.
Give me a dexterity roll. You do find a ladder. It is old and worn and somewhat slicked from the rain, but you should be able to climb that. I take it back. You may not be able to climb that. You want to push that roll?
Yeah, I'll definitely push that one.
Nice.
There we go. So your second step, your foot slips and you catch yourself, and you find that you've been holding your breath, realizing how awful a fall from the top of the roof would be. But you grit your teeth. You've got the tarp kind of tucked under one arm as you're pulling yourself up. You've got a pocket full of nails, maybe a few nails in your teeth, and the hammer is sticking out of your pocket. You make it up to the roof. Give me a mechanical repair roll.
Oh, you had to say that one.
I'll give you a bonus
All
die
right.
on it too.
All right, I'll take that bonus dice. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm not going to spend 40
42 luck.
points.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
You want to push that?
Yeah, I'll keep pushing. Great success.
My goodness. Okay.
I just turned into Norm Abrams.
Right? It's this old shed. You've got this house like covered up. I mean, it's you even like kind of put it over the top of the roof so that no rain will trickle under the tarp, and this thing is just a work of art. And you kind of step back, admiring your work, thinking, if this whole artist thing doesn't work out, maybe you've missed your calling in life. You see a bright flash of lightning, which reminds you to get off the roof. And so you scramble down off the roof, and you hear that the generator is now chugging along at a much more satisfying pace. It sounds as though it should dry itself off soon and hopefully provide you enough electricity until help can arrive. You're hoping that the captain of the fishing vessel that kind of pushed you off into the raft to get here, that he has gone for help, that hopefully he made it to Folly Point and will come back with the Coast Guard or someone else at any moment. Anita might think otherwise, but as far as you know, the captain is still going to find rescue for you. Let's go, as you then head back into the lighthouse, let's go into the study. So, Anne, you make it into the study. This study contains 3 armchairs located in roughly the center of the room. In addition to the hall doorway, there is another door leading to the kitchen. In terms of furniture, beside the armchairs, there is a table to the left of the hall door and a roll-top writing desk on the outer wall, close to the kitchen door. Both of these have their own wooden chair next to them. The one by the writing desk currently lies on the floor, and it looks to you that maybe its occupant got up in a hurry and perhaps knocked the chair over backwards. The table holds several books of maritime tales, a book on bird identification, a repair manual for the lighthouse. There's also a pipe and a pouch of tobacco, a pair of binoculars, a sketchbook, pencils, watercolor paints, paintbrushes, and paper. There is what appears to be a recently finished watercolor on the table beside a neat stack of other paintings. At this time, Frank, Anita, and Robert, you come back into the house, and you can see Anne in the study looking at this watercolor painting. This piece appears to show a window, a dark shadow with wide eyes leering through the glass pane. The window can easily be identified as the one next to the artist's desk. Anne, give me a sanity roll.
Yep.
Nice. You don't lose any points of sanity for seeing this. You think, that's kind of weird. It's sort of like some of the art that has been churned out of Europe. Strange faces, strange, fantastical scenes. This doesn't mean much to you, Robert. When you see this, you recognize this as similar to, say, a Van Gogh, someone who was dealing with some mental trauma when they made this piece of art. And Robert, you give me a sanity roll as well. And Anita, when you see this, give me either a natural world or a science biology roll. Robert, you're going to lose 1 point of sanity. Anita, do you want to push that?
I'm gonna push it.
there's something about the eyes that just look strange to you, Anita. The eyes are bulbous and they're placed almost to the side of its head, kind of wide apart, almost like an animal, like a fish or a frog or even a cow that has the eyes not facing forward like a person would be. But this is a silhouette of a person, but the eyes are in the wrong place. Robert, you recognize that this, based on the window and how this looks, that this one might be something that someone thinks they saw, that they may have had a hallucination and have painted this. Based on the strokes, this is someone that was feeling great emotions at this time, most likely fear or concern. Now there's a stack of neatly painted watercolors. One more grabs your attention, Robert. It features the nearby thicket with the lighthouse and the two smaller buildings in it. And you see in the darkness of the path leading into the thicket the silhouette of a man. This one is dated on the back. It says February 14, 1926. This is a couple months ago that this one was made. Frank, when you come in, you see the roll-top desk is closed. Doesn't look to be locked. You want to open that roll-top desk, Frank?
Absolutely.
The desk, it has a half-empty, still warm mug of coffee and lots of stationery. There's envelopes, stamps, paper, bottles of ink, and pens. There is a mess of invoices for coin appraisals from a variety of Rockport antique stores that litter the rest of the desk. You see quotes ranging from $2 to $5, and they're all dated February of 1926. And again, we're into April. Let me have Anne give me an appraise roll as you see Frank looking over some of these quotes.
And does Frank recognize the handwriting?
Give me a spot hidden roll.
Oh.
Wow, Anne. You know that while some of these stores have charged a fair price, others have been attempting to take advantage of whoever was having these coins valued. Frank, you do not recognize any of the handwriting, but you do notice that under a large coin catalog, there's several letters from further afield antique stores, from librarians and universities. Each of these begins with the phrase, "Dear Mr. Cassidy," followed by an apology, explaining that the sender is unable to determine the origins of the coins described in the correspondence. However, all of the letters state that they are keen to see an actual sample so they can carry out a thorough analysis. Now, Frank, give me a library use roll.
Okay. Well.
Wow. Okay, you find a handout. Let me get this handout up here. I'm going to put it into the journals. I'm going to make it visible for everyone, but I'm going to go ahead and post a picture of it as well. This handout says, April 2nd, 1926. Dear Mr. Cassidy, thank you for your letter dated February 28 of this year. I do indeed recognize the coin you described, or at least I recognize the style of decoration, for we have a piece of similar origin here in our museum in Newburyport. As a result, I suspect your coin hails from nearby Innsmouth, and only the locals of that benighted town could tell you its true worth, to them at least. However, if you value your immortal soul, I strongly caution you against contacting any denizens of that place. No good ever came from dealing with Innsmouth. Instead, the Newburyport Society would be glad to purchase any coins you may have found from you at market value once their authenticity has been confirmed. If you would care to make arrangements to visit me here at the Society's museum at your earliest convenience, then I can arrange to have our appraiser examine the coins, whereupon we can agree to a fair price for the sale. Again, Mr. Cassidy, I urge you most strongly not to approach anyone in Innsmouth about your find. It really is for the best of all concerned. Yours sincerely, Miss Anna Tilton.
I think Frank kind of looks at that, and then he looks at Anne, and he says, your friend George, what's his last name?
Cassidy. Why do you ask, darling?
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And he hands her the letter, and he's just like, maybe those coins were cursed.
The writing desk also has 2 drawers. The left-hand one is open, but there's a key snapped off inside its lock. The drawer holds an empty wooden box whose green velvet lining is shaped to hold a revolver. There are 6 bullets loose in this same drawer. The right-hand drawer is locked. It will need a locksmith roll or force it open with a strength roll.
Oh, I could try a strength roll.
Okay.
He's a strong lad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. The drawer pops open easily, and you find a small journal. There's a rough sketch of an obelisk on the journal's cover. Since you have seen the coin, this is the same image as found on the coin. And let me send you this handout as well. I will make it visible in the journal entries, and then I will post a picture of it here in just a moment. It begins February 13, 1926. I found something on one of my walks. A coin. I have kept walking and found another, and another. I know it's gold. I found some mechanical parts as well. Looks like it might be from a ship. Must have gone down recently, but I don't recall hearing anything about no wreck of late, unless it went down in last night's storm when the light was out. I'd better keep this quiet. I don't want the other 2 here to get a slice of the action. I will keep this journal as a means of documenting my findings. This has to be worth a mint. 3 days later, February 16. That coin catalog I bought in Folly Point is useless. One thing I know is that the coins are old. Real old. I have asked if I can stay on for as long as I can until I am sure that there is nothing left here for me to line my pockets. And I have to find a good lead on these coins and go where the money takes me. Maybe I should write to some of my old colleagues to see if they can help. Should probably try some of those fancy antique stores in Rockport while I'm at it. March 10. The coins are getting hard to find. The 2 new crew members aren't helping matters. Makes it difficult to search without being noticed. Hope they don't cause me any trouble. Even so, I've filled a small purse which I keep on me at all times. April 3rd. I've got a good lead now. I'll be sending one more letter to Innsmouth, then I'm confident I can get off this stinking island for good. I think Michael is watching me. I've bought a gun, just in case. April 11. Smith said he will leave the lighthouse tomorrow morning. He said he doesn't care if it voids his contract. He's had enough of this island and everything on it. At least that's one less pair of eyes watching me. Still stuck with that sneak Michael, though. Smith says the radio busted again halfway through talking with the bosses. Said he'd fix it before he leaves. Counted my coins just to be sure he didn't lift any off me in my sleep. I've seen Michael out the window, spying on my daily walks. I'll have to be more careful. April 12, which is today. Smith left without a word. Me and Michael didn't even see him go. Didn't take his paintings with him, which is a bit odd. Lousy rat didn't even repair the radio before he left. I'll get to it later tonight. Michael has just gone to check something outside. Seems paranoid. I reckon there's more than just tobacco in that pipe of his. At least I get time to write. No word from... And then the journal ends.
Oh my.
Anne, you recognize the handwriting as belonging to George Cassidy.
Oh, Georgie, you always made such bad choices, my friend. You old fool.
Robert, as you look around this room, give me a spot hidden roll, please. Oh, nice. You begin to hear a strange sound. There's a flash of lightning, and through the study window, you can see the rocky shoreline and the silhouette of two hunched things beginning to crawl towards the lighthouse cottage. With another flash, you see even more beginning to emerge up from the rocky shoreline. And you recognize that the front door is still open. Robert, give me a sanity roll. You lose 1 point of sanity, and you may take an action. What do you do? Robert, are you there?
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to run out into the hallway and lock that front door.
You can hear your heart beginning to pound. Give me a dexterity roll as you run into the hallway.
Oh no.
Do you want to push
And
that or spend the 32 luck?
No, I will push it. And slide around even worse.
You slip on some of the blood on the floor, nearly twisting your ankle. You reach the door to attempt to push it closed, and you feel something pushing back. And then you see 4 dark green fingers bending around the inside of the door, getting a grip as it begins to push even harder. You let out a little scream as you're attempting to get this door shut. Frank, what do you do?
Have I noticed the little sounds or anything?
Yes, by now everyone has become aware
We all
of those sounds.
Sounds are happening. I think Frank pulls his gun out and kind of just to make sure they're good to go. And is just like, well, apparently there's a radio somewhere, so we should find that. And everyone who doesn't have a weapon, I'd figure that out.
Anita, what do you do? You see Robert straining at the door as you see this strange hand coming around the outside of the door. You see that there is webbing in between the fingers, not unlike that of a duck or a frog. And the skin looks slightly scaled, almost like some sort of aquatic or marine animal.
I'm going to just torn between my instinct to survive and also my
Discovery.
want to discover and study. I'm going to just say, and I put down the boots very gingerly, still hoping to preserve the sample. And I'm going to say, well, if it would be great if if something happens, if we're able to try not to damage the sample or the specimen too badly. And I'm going to, I don't really have anything to fight with, but my fists, I guess. She's just gonna pick up a heavy book in the room and hope that is enough to just smack with.
Perfect. What about Anne? What is Anne doing?
Can I run into the kitchen and grab that knife now?
Yep,
Is
you're
that
gonna have
too
to give
much?
me a dexterity roll to get in there, but that is
Okay,
definitely
let's try.
possible. Oh, nice.
This is to make up for the last one shot I played, where I rolled no successes over 4 hours.
No, that's terrible.
So here we are.
All right, you've got a kitchen knife in hand, As you run into the kitchen, there's a flash of lightning, and you see a face. And the face in the light is absolutely terrifying. Let me post a picture here.
Oh no.
good.
Oh. Mhm.
Give me a sanity roll, Anne, as you see that.
Lovely.
It's fun.
Probably friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like he's a good time. Yeah.
And you lose 1 point of sanity. Boy, you guys are rocking the sanity rolls.
Yeah, really.
Robert, this thing is pushing with all of its might, and then you feel something else bang up against the door as another one begins to push. You need to give me a fighting brawl roll if you want to try and get this door shut. Alternatively, you can just bolt. You could go into one of these rooms, or there's the stairs going up into the lighthouse.
No, I'm going out fighting.
Okay.
And I will yell, "Help me! Help me!"
Nice. Let me
Look at that. I'm a tough guy.
Ooh.
let me have them make
I'm going to try to slam the door on his fingers to try to get those fingers back out on the outside.
Let me give them a roll and see how they do. Nice. You get it. So, if you want, you push hard enough to lop the fingers off as you slam the door shut, and you see 4 little fingers clatter to the ground, and they're twitching slightly, and the blood coming out of them has this slightly bluish tint to it, and you recognize this cerulean color as something, the color that you have been looking for in the picture. You've had dreams of this picture, and this color, this is the one that you have wanted. Seeing these fingers chopped off, seeing this color, give me a sanity roll.
That's even prettier than phthalo blue. Hell yeah, I lose it.
In this recurring dream, this scene that you want to paint, wow, 1 more point of sanity. It never ends well, but it's a dream of something deep below the surface of the water. And when you were drowning earlier, you saw that before you came up to the surface. It is a reef. It's a dark reef well below the surface of the water, and there are things living in that reef that have never seen the light of day. And as you see that blood, you recognize that color from that reef. And you take a moment as you let out a little happy shriek, getting the door shut. You reach up and you fumble and you get the door locked. Frank, what are you doing?
Well, he was gonna try to shoot the things, but now that they're
You can shoot through the door. Or through the window.
Door.
You can see some now at the window peering in.
I don't think Frank would want to give them access to the house unless they break through. I think he just kind of looks at everybody and is like, we probably need to get to the high ground. We should just go up the lighthouse thing.
Do you go first, or do you let someone else go ahead of you?
I think he would let everybody else go ahead and bring up the rear if everyone wants to go up there.
Who goes first?
Robert will say, no good story ends at the top of a lighthouse. You go first.
Okay. He's like, all right, and then he'll run up.
Who goes with Frank?
I will.
To run after him as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Robert will go grudgingly. He's going wherever the gun goes.
You could hear them pounding on the door, trying to gain entry. As you climb the stairs in the hallway, you eventually reach the lighthouse's service room, located immediately below the lantern room. The mechanism used to turn the lamp is mounted in the ceiling, and from the noise, it seems to be working. So the lamp is turning, but the lamp is not lit. There is a separate set of steps leading up through a trapdoor into the lantern room above. There are several boxes stored here. They look to contain bulbs for the lighthouse's beacon. There's also a small workbench. There is also a log that shows that on February 12th, wiring problems caused the lighthouse's lamp bulb to prematurely burn out. The records show that the electrical short caused by the bulb's failure, coupled with the severe storm, hampered the repairs, meaning the lighthouse was in darkness for several hours. Opposite the workbench is a table with a radio set in a semi-state of disrepair. Basically, the radio has been torn open and not put back together. Should you wish to, you could try to repair this. It would take some time. Otherwise, you've got the trap door leading up into the beacon.
Got it. I think Frank would try to repair the radio, because that's how he'd be able to call out and try to get help.
Give me an electrical repair roll.
Electrical repair.
Oh,
Oh! Okay. It's going to take you a few minutes. I'm going to let everyone else describe an action while you are starting to put this together. You've done a repair before. You've made a little piezoelectric radio. This can't be too much more difficult. You can see kind of where everything should go. It looks like a part that maybe was burned out has been replaced. It just hasn't been put back together. So you can definitely get this done. Anita, what do you do while Frank is trying to fix the radio?
I'm actually going to try to listen to hear if there's any footsteps from below following us.
Give me a spot hidden roll. You definitely hear the sounds of the things out there. Do you want to spend 19 luck, or do you want to push that?
I'm gonna strain to try to hear a little bit more.
Okay. Oh, that's even worse. Slightly worse, though. You don't hear footprints, but you do hear the breaking of glass, and then the sounds of those things gets a little bit louder. After a moment, you hear the flat slap of flat webbed feet on the kitchen floor. Anne, what are you doing?
That is a good question. Sorry.
So you are on the map. You're in this room just below the top of the lighthouse. If you can see where I'm pinging, there is a trap door that would let you up into the actual beacon room.
Yes, I would go all the way up. I want to look out.
As you go up through the trap door, you are greeted by a wet, bloody scene. Two panes of glass in the lantern room's windows have been broken somehow. Their shattered remains crunch underfoot. The rain blows in through the gaps, making the metal decking slippery. Adding to the slipperiness is blood from the corpses of two men, along with that from two bizarre fish creatures. Let me post a picture here.
wow. It wears a tie.
You recognize the body of one of the men, not the ones in the pictures, but a human, as the body of your former colleague, George Cassidy.
Georgie.
Give me a sanity roll for that.
Yep. Oops. I closed my character sheet. That's not what I wanted to do.
You can go to Actor tab and should be able to open it back up. You got it.
Another
Oh,
6.
nice.
Goodness.
Wow. So you lose one still. You let
Okay.
out a little scream, but you could have lost a lot more.
Oh yeah.
You note that one of the bodies, the body nearest the stairs, is very strange looking. The man is garbed in a heavy hooded raincoat and appears to have a narrow head and pronounced flaps of skin around his neck and jowls. He seems to be suffering from some sort of skin condition, going by his gray, rough complexion. His bulging, watery eyes stare sightlessly in the direction of George's corpse. You can confirm that he has been shot twice, and that those bullet wounds likely caused his death. There's a dead fish creature lying beside the strange man. Both it and the one attached to George's corpse have been shot as well, one through the eye and one through its belly. This is unlike any creature you have ever seen before. These things look like they would be extremely mobile on land due to their muscular legs, and perfectly at home in the water due to their fins and gills. Give me a natural world roll, Anne.
Is there any way for me to tell how long they've been dead?
You could do a first aid roll for that.
Yeah. I'm not good at that, but I'll try. No, I just can't tell. No.
They are relatively fresh. It happened today. It's
Okay.
likely within the last couple hours, maybe. You do
Okay.
notice that George has a bag tied to his neck, and it is a heavy purse full of those strange gold coins. He also has a six-shooter, a pistol, in his hands, but all of the bullets in the chamber have been spent. Do you want to take
Well,
the coins or take the gun?
I will take the gun. I do not want to touch the coins.
Okay, let me give you the gun. There are no bullets in the gun, but
Correct. Yep.
it might still, you could, throw it at something if you had to. Let me put that on your character sheet. And let me, sorry, I need to take these bullets off here. There's no bullets in that gun.
Yep.
There we go. Let me see. Okay, and then what is Robert doing while Anne is doing this?
Well, Robert he is frantic, he's desperate, but in that desperation, he remembers back to that inner monologue he had when he saw the color of that blue blood at the front door out of those fingers, and remembering that there were creatures in that reef that had never seen the light of day. And I'm going to, just on a whim, I'm going to see if I can figure out how to change this light bulb and see if we can get this lighthouse going. I think maybe the bright light may scare them off.
Give me a mechanical repair roll.
Still didn't make it.
Do you want to spend
Only have-
19 luck?
I sure the heck do.
Okay. You know that this bulb can be replaced. The old bulb up top is broken, and so it's going to take you time to get that out. You can't simply grab it and turn it. You will slice your hands to ribbons. So you're going to need to take some pliers and slowly work that out of there before you get the new bulb in. It may take you 5 minutes or so to get that bulb replaced, but you can do it. So you take a bulb, you go up in there, you see this scene, you see these men on the ground, you see these strange fish-like creatures, you see the human, George, with one of those fish creatures attached to him, biting him on the upper torso, and you see that bag of just bulging with gold coins tied around his neck. Frank, you get the radio repaired, and you begin to hear static coming through. The storm is definitely affecting it, but you can make a mayday call if you like.
It says, Mayday, Mayday, this is Special Agent Frank B. Ivans with the FBI. We're trapped on Beacon Island and are surrounded by hostiles. We do not know what they are. send help immediately.
You hear the squelch of static, and then we copy you. Coast Guard. Once the storm abates, stay in range. You pick bits and pieces out of that. It sounds like they will send the Coast Guard once the storm lifts. So you know you are on your own.
Nice. Great.
Perfect. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
At that point, Frank, you happen to look down the spiral stairs, and you can see silhouetted the shadows of several of those creatures beginning to crawl up the stairs. You can first see 1, 2, 4, and then 5 coming up those stairs. What do you do, having made that call?
How did we get up into the room? You said it was like a trap door?
There's a trap door that leads you up into the room.
Okay. Is it currently open?
It is open.
Okay, cool. I think he'll try to hit at least one of them if he can with the gun. I think he's gonna shoot.
I'm gonna pull
Shoot
some
down.
tokens up here. One second.
So many fishmen.
Perfect. Go ahead and give me that roll.
Alright. Is that firearms handgun?
The handgun. If you like, you can target one of the fish creatures. You can just click on the token and hit T, and it will target it. And then it should automate the combat. There you go.
Oh, cool. Ooh.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay. So this is an extreme success. So this is a penetrating roll. So it's going to try to get out of the way. I'm going to give it a dodge. It has to get an extreme success on this dodge to have any chance at this. If not, you will do maximum damage plus a die. Nope. So you're going to do maximum damage plus a die roll. So your max damage is 1d10. So it will do 1d. So it will do 10 plus 1d10. So if you want to click on your character the 1d10. Perfect. Then go ahead and we'll roll that damage. So it does 13 points of damage. You strike it squarely, and it begins to roll down the stairs lifeless.
Nice.
Anita, you hear the sound of the gunshot, and you hear the cries of those things on the stairs. What does Anita do?
The sound of the gunshot actually startles her out of her reverie, and now I'm just thinking about, now it's just we gotta survive and make it through it, having heard the radio as well. So I'm going to scramble up the trapdoor.
You get up the trapdoor, you see the scene with the bodies, you see George, you see the creatures with the gunshots on them, you notice the bag of coins around his neck, when you get up to the top, you see the broken panes of glass, the bulb that has been shattered, Robert frantically trying to get that bulb changed. You see Anne looking a little pale. She is gazing out the window, out into the storm. And Anne, give me a spot hidden roll.
Okay. All right.
Nice. There's a flash of lightning, and you see out on the shore, you see 7, 8, perhaps 10 of these creatures coming up and slowly walking towards the lighthouse. They're quite far now, but unmistakably you see their shapes as they lurk over the rocks, headed your direction. Anita, you get up and you see Anne. You see what she's looking as she points out at that. I'll have the two of you give me a sanity roll. Nice. What about Anne? Excellent. You both will lose 1 point of sanity as your situation deteriorates and you begin to see just how bleak your prospects are. Let me just do a quick check-in. So I think with Call of Cthulhu, there's two ways you go insane. One is if you lose 5 or more points in a single go, and one is if you reach your daily maximum, which is 1/5 of your sanity. So Anita, you have lost 5 out of 12 for your daily limit. Frank, you have lost 4 out of 13. Anita has lost 4 out of 9, so 5 more for Anita. And Robert, you have lost. How many have you lost here? You have lost 6 out of 12. So you're all doing okay. I think. Is it Anne?
Half crazy.
Yeah, only half crazy. Let me drag us all kind of into a combat so it will go in initiative order. We'll just make it a little easier for us here. This is all based on dexterity, so I'm going to just start the combat. Roll here. Alright, the bad guys go first. So let me get them up here. They have the higher dex. There we go. They're climbing up the ladder. They are about 6 or 7 feet from the service room. Anne, it is your turn. What would Anne do?
I don't suppose there's any way to check the dead people's pockets for extra bullets.
Yeah, you can do that. Give me a spot hidden roll as you check for bullets.
Nope. I will. Can I push in combat?
You can't push a combat roll. You can spend luck on a combat roll. This would not be a combat specific roll. You could push that roll.
Oh, okay. I will try. Oh, just barely. Goodness gracious.
Just missed. And you can't spend luck once you pushed a roll.
Nope.
So you pat down George, and you kind of look at his face, and you're like, George, what did you get involved with? There are no bullets. You see the spent shell casings around him, but nothing that you could use to help to protect yourself. We'll go next in order. Let me pull this out so I've got it on my screen here. Frank, you're up next.
Is there anything around that seems heavy that I could use to put like on top of the trapdoor?
There's a few boxes and crates in here. They're not super heavy. They contain like glass bulbs, tools, things like that. There's nothing heavier than probably 50 pounds.
Okay. I mean, that's not nothing.
Right.
I think he will close the trapdoor and just try to like throw as much as he can on it.
Give me a strength roll as you begin to maneuver things over the door.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yep, you managed to get a few boxes over the door. Robert, your turn.
I am desperately trying to get this light bulb changed.
Give me another mechanical repair roll. If you get this one, you're going to get it done a little quicker. Ooh, yeah. Do you want to push that?
Definitely pushing that. Duh.
You're going to lose 1 point of sanity as you know things are dire, and you're trying to be careful, but you're also trying not to get cut, and the tension is building. Anita, your turn.
I'm going to look around to see if there's anything I can use possibly to defend myself, aside from this heavy tomb that I've picked up.
that is there's the book. There's some broken pieces of glass. There's your two companions. That's about it. There is, there's the bodies of the other people. There's the bag of gold coins would be heavy.
I don't know. I almost feel like Anita's gonna be just in this moment kind of frozen as this strange situation is really sinking in finally, that these creatures are trying to kill them.
Give me a
the
sanity
dead
roll.
bodies as well.
Nice. Yeah, the strain is real. You're gonna lose 1 point of sanity. As now these things begin to pound on that trap door. And Frank, you see the door beginning to lift and lower, lift and lower. They're pushing and they're getting it open. Give me a sanity roll, Frank, as you see that the door is about to be forced open. Nice.
Ooh.
Well, you guys are rocking the sanity roll. Anne, your turn.
If somebody else bracing the trapdoor closed, is that what I heard?
So Frank puts some crates over it to try to hold it down, but right now he's the only one down there.
Wait, what do you mean down there? Sorry.
So you guys are up on the very top floor, and he is down a little bit lower where there's a trap door, kind of holding the fort. Actually, I guess he would be up. I didn't move him back up. Yeah, so you guys are.
I thought the trapdoor was kind of on the
it's just below you. Sorry,
outside.
I hadn't moved him up yet.
Okay.
So yeah, the trapdoor is just below Anita. It's right there. So Frank comes up, and you see this trapdoor lifting as these things are getting ready to burst through. I forgot to move everybody up. There we go.
Okay. Is there any rope or anything in this area?
Give me
that
a
I might
spot
see?
hidden roll. Actually, give me a luck roll. I think luck would be better.
Okay, fine. Let's try for luck. Oh, it's exactly the same.
Oh wow. Yeah, there is no rope up here at all. And you, as you're looking for that rope, you peek down over the side just to see kind of what's going on there.
Yeah.
And you see that they are starting to scale the outside of this lighthouse.
Ooh.
Do I still have anything left to do, or is my turn pretty much done
No,
now?
you still have a little bit left. What's your next action?
I would shout to, I believe it was Frank. Do you still have those coins in your pocket? Yes? Throw them over the edge of the lighthouse and call to these mad creatures that they might leave us alone.
Frank does have the coins in his pocket.
That's it. I'll end my turn there.
Let's go to Frank's turn.
Sure, yeah. He's like weird, but okay. And he'll toss the coins out of the lighthouse.
You drop the coins over the side, and
yeah.
you see them shimmer in the light of distant lightning storms, and the creatures down on the ground begin to croak excitedly, and you see them gather down here around the coins, just kind of on the other side of the house, and the two that were scaling here climb down to see what the commotion is. Robert, your turn.
I'm going to continue to try to get this damn light bulb fixed.
Give me one more mechanical repair roll, and you'll get it this round, otherwise it's going to be next round.
Yes!
Oh, you got it. A brilliant light just booms out of the room, nearly blinding all of you. The light is turning, brilliant light shining out to sea. You can feel the heat coming off this lamp immediately. Anita, what do you do?
I exclaim, "The light!" Like thinking about these deep sea creatures that must be hopefully frightened off by the light.
Yeah, they've got huge bulbous eyes.
Do we still have the lamp that Robert had picked up?
I think Robert still has it in hand.
Yes.
I'm going to ask, like, Robert, give me the lamp, and I'm just gonna, if he hands it over to me, take
Here,
that
take
and
it.
go over by the trap door
Okay.
and try to brace against it, but also holding the lamp aloft.
Okay, give me a strength roll.
Ooh.
You wanna push that or use luck? Yeah. Okay.
Close but no cigar.
Then, oops, I need to add these guys to it. The creatures, the ones just below you, finally force the door open and flinging you off of the door, Anita, and you hit the ground, kind of land on your backside, and you are almost face to face with one of these creatures. It lashes a hand out at you. Let me get here. You have the option to fight back, or you can dodge. What would you like to do? Do you want to dodge that or fight back? If you dodge, you just need to get a hard success. If you fight back, you need an extreme success.
I think my first instinct is to try to roll away and dodge.
Roll away. Let me put dodge. There we go. The creature lashes out at you for 5 hit points worth of damage. I will inflict that to you as it rakes your leg, drawing huge welts of blood. The other ones around it begin to force their way out. It's just a matter of time before they are there as well. Now, these ones down here on the side, you see them having grabbed the coins. You see them sniffing the coins and looking up at the tower, and they're croaking to one another, and they gather in a small group down there, and they're showing each other those coins, and then they point up at the tower, and they begin to scale the sides again.
Oh.
Anne, your turn.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't great.
Give me, this will be an idea roll. So this is an intelligence roll.
Okay. That's fine. Try that.
Do you want to spend 2 luck on that?
Would it be 2?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You noticed that these things seemed captivated by the coins. The coins seemed to hold some sort of significance to them. It wasn't just something that they threw away. They clutched them in their palms as they look up. You remember your friend George has a bag of them around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Oh my gods, I did not want to deal with these accursed coins, but I fear I have no choice.
Let me get rid of this Harry Potter music and we'll get something kind of creepy here.
And, I suppose I will, disgustedly try and take the bag off of my dead friend.
Give me a sanity roll as you relieve that
Okay.
from your friend.
Yeah, that's about right.
Ooh.
All right. As you reach down to take that from George, you look in his eyes and you see that they're locked in a look of absolute terror. And you just wonder what he got himself into as you lose 2 points of sanity.
Yep, okay.
That's okay. You can take that. But you manage to get the bag. 3 more points of sanity loss and you will be indefinitely insane. You have the bag of coins in hand. That will take your turn. Frank,
Okay.
you're
Great.
up.
I'm gonna shoot the one that hit Anita.
Okay.
We're just gonna shoot these guys. That's what he does. Did I get it? There we go. Okay.
Perfect.
Boop, 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 boop.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
He needs to get a hard success here.
Ow.
Oh, and he does. So the tie goes to the dodge. Actually, no. You know what? With ranged combat, sorry, you don't dodge. You dive out of the way. And I'm going to say he can't dive out of the way because he is latched on to Anita. So ignore that whole diving thing. You do hit him. So that's going to be 1d10 points of damage. You can roll a d10. You either click on your weapon. Yep, there we go. Go ahead and roll that damage.
3 again.
3 again. Let me give him 3 damage. He can definitely take that, but it does. You see the bullet enter into his body, and that bluish red blood begins to well up. Robert, your turn.
I'm gonna look around to see if there's anything I can use as like an improvised weapon.
You have the broken bulb. It would be very sharp.
Oh, okay. Am I able to get close enough to strike?
Sure. Go ahead and give me a fighting brawl roll. Now this it can dodge. You cannot push that, but you can spend 51 luck if you want to.
Don't even have it.
Don't even have it. So you slash at it with the bulb, but in the chaos you narrowly miss. Anita, you are engaged in hand-to-hand combat to the death with this thing, it would seem. What do? You are still on your backside. It's got a hold of your leg. There are 4 huge rivulets of blood on your leg where it has just scraped right down to the bone.
Lantern still in hand, I'm just gonna try to swing at it while it's still clutched onto my leg, and the whole time I'm like, ah.
Nice. Give me a fighting brawl. You want to spend 4 luck to make that a success?
I sure do.
He will fight back. So he needs to get a hard success or better, which he does not. So you will do damage. So with the lantern, I'll say that does 1d4 points of damage. And if you deal at least 3, I'll say that the lantern breaks and may catch him on fire. So I'm going to roll a 1d4 for you. 1 point of damage. So at least your lantern didn't go out, but he only took a single point of damage as you club him over the head. Their turn. The one on you is going to continue to attack you. This time it's going to try to bite you as it pulls your leg into its mouth and bites hold. You can dodge or you can fight back. Over in the chat bar you can choose. Oh, if you dodge you need a hard success. If you fight back you need to get an extreme success. What would Anita do? Dodge or fight back?
I think at this point I'm just in it, so I'm gonna try to fight back.
Nice. Click the fight back. Ooh, that's not so hot. Let me flick that 4. You're still not down. You actually have quite a few hit points, but you are below your 1/2, I think. So Anita is fading quickly. Got 5 hit points left as this thing bites these needle-like teeth down into your leg, and it feels like a pike or a barracuda has got a hold of you as it begins to thrash its head back and forth, and you can feel the scraping of those teeth on your leg bone. The other ones have begun to climb up the side of the lighthouse, getting closer and closer. Anne, you're up next. You've got the handful of the bag full of gold coins in hand.
Yeah. Can I wave one in front of the face of the one that's biting?
Yes.
And throw it down the ladder from whence it came.
It immediately locks eyes with the coin as you hold it up. It's sparkling in this bright light, and you see it just gazing in wonder at this coin, and it drops Anita's leg out of its mouth. And as you toss the coin, it looks down, and you hear some of the ones deeper down croaking at it as though signaling that they've got it. And then it looks at you again, almost expectantly. What do you do, Anne?
I will pull out another coin and just hold it up. And holding it between my fingers, holding it in the air, and I'll say, "Can you understand me?" And I want to see what it does.
It looks at you for a moment and then holds out its hand, palm up, as though not asking you to give it the coins. You get the sense that there is intelligence there.
Okay. Can I still do something, or?
Yes, yep, go ahead.
Okay. In that case, then I will put the one coin back in the bag, and in both my hands, holding the whole bag, say, "I will give you this, and all we want to do is leave peacefully. We have an agreement."
It pulls the bag slowly towards its face, and you can see it sniffing the bag, and it holds it up as though weighing it, sniffing it. It pulls out a coin and tastes it, looks at you, looks around the room, looks at Anita's leg, nods its head, and they all begin to slowly trudge down the lighthouse.
I collapse on the floor.
You collapse on the floor. Anita is laying there, her leg bleeding. Frank, you've got just a few bullets left. You see them leave. Robert, you know that you have come within a short span of potentially dying and have perhaps just bargained for your life by returning these coins to these creatures. Having recovered what was theirs, they head back into the sea, and you watch them as they walk into the waves and disappear beneath the surf, leaving you quietly alone at the top of this lighthouse. Just before dawn, the Coast Guard pulls up in a small cutter. They dock at the northern dock, and a crew heads up to the lighthouse to check on you. Let's do an epilogue. Let's say 1 year from now. I can turn the storm off. It's no longer stormy. 1 year from now. Anne, where are you, and how has your life gone over this last year?
Well, I have amended my antique shop policy, and I do not buy antique coins, nor do I sell them. And I have the trinkets that I took from George, the bunkhouse, in a small picture frame that hangs behind the cash register, like behind the desk, at the counter.
Awesome.
Yep.
Anita, 1 year from now, where are you? Where has your life taken you?
I am working at a famous research facility, and I've published a paper using the findings, and also because we had the bodies up in
You
the
did?
lighthouse. I walk, I spend my days walking around with a limp, a little reminder from our adventure, but I've made this discovery and am well known inside the marine biology world.
In your office, do you have a jar with a preserved head of one of these deep ones?
Yeah, I actually have the full body
Nice.
since,
Ooh.
yeah, just floating there
Is
as
it
a.
like taxidermied, or is it in like taxidermied, like mounted on the wall, or floating in like a large
I think
glass
floating in
container?
a liquid,
Nice.
to mimic from whence it came.
Ooh.
Robert, 1 year from now, where are you and where has life taken you?
Robert's life has spiraled. He has spent this last year trying to perfect that color of blue.
Oh no.
He paints so many pictures or paintings that are just blue and blue, and he just keeps mixing blue, and it all comes out phthalo blue, and he cannot replicate that color of the blue of the blood of these creatures, and the only thing that brings him solace is absinthe.
Ooh,
And
nice.
he picks up work here and there just to make enough money to keep buying supplies and absinthe. And he
You
is haunted, wakes in at night with nightmares
you
about that night.
you have done paintings of that reef from your dreams. Have they been shown publicly?
No, because they are all subpar and they do not reflect that color of blue.
One night there is a ringing of your telephone, and you answer it, and there is heavy breathing on the other end, slightly wheezing and gurgling, almost as though someone with emphysema is speaking. And they wish to ask you about that night back in 1926, the night of April 12th. And they ask if you would like to go on a journey.
Absolutely. Anything to get me out of this life.
The next day, a man shows up at your front door wearing a hat, an overcoat, a necktie. You notice that he's got large, jowlish features. His eyes are large and somewhat milky as though by cataracts. His nose is flat and wide. His skin is somewhat mottled. He looks much like the man you saw at the top of the lighthouse, some hybrid between man and fish. And he invites you to journey with him to the place you have been dreaming of, for they have been sending you dreams. And now it's time to go home. And you walk out and get into the car with this man. Frank, 1 year from now, where are you?
I think Frank quit the FBI after that and went on a little vacation.
Nice.
Just like he wanted. I think he has since become kind of like a private eye of sorts. I think he has a reputation of people taking like weird cases to him.
Mm-hmm.
And has stayed in the area. I think he has been checking on Robert, sometimes actually in person, sometimes as like a mysterious like patron who like gives money for art. Not that he has a lot of money to spare, but I think he, definitely notices when Robert goes missing. And that probably is going to be his next case.
Well, one day out of the blue, roughly 3 months after Robert was no longer taking your calls, you call and he answers. And his voice is somewhat raspy and bubbly, and he invites you around to show you his latest work. And when you arrive, you notice that Robert's features are beginning to change, as though he is becoming more like those that took him to the Devil's Reef. And he shows you a painting. He has mastered that color of blue, and he tells you you just had to be there. And that's where the scene turns black and the movie ends, and that's the end of the Lightless Beacon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I had a blast. I
That
hope
was
that
great.
you all had a wonderful time. And Robert
Yes.
is, the whole story about what must have happened to Robert when they took him down to the Devil's Reef. And I will get this video posted here shortly. I'll send the link to the Discord. I know I've got games with, I think, most all of you coming up. In fact, I think starting tomorrow, in fact, I think I've got some games with you. But you're all more than welcome to stay on the Discord. I've got games I'm posting all the time. Loved playing with each and every one of you, and definitely looking forward to playing again. If you haven't gotten something from Start Playing about leaving me a review, I would love a good review. That helps people to find me. We get more people in the games. You can leave me a 5-star review. That's fantastic. If you cannot, talk to me and tell me how I could improve to make the experience even better for you.